Hello, how are you? The Apocryphal Gospels are books containing religious texts that were not included in the canon of sacred scriptures in various religious traditions, such as Christianity and Judaism. While they may have historical and moral value, they were not considered divinely inspired by the Church and, therefore, are not used to form doctrines. The list of apocryphal books can vary depending on the religious tradition and specific denomination. Some of the most well-known ones include the Gospels of St. Thomas, Mary Magdalene, and Judas, as well as the books of Enoch, Ezra, and the Maccabees. There's also the Proto-Gospel of James, which contains intriguing accounts of the life and childhood of Jesus, especially during the journey he undertook with his parents during the escape to Egypt, where Jesus is said to have encountered beings known today as reptilians. One interesting aspect mentioned about Jesus, not cited by the biblical prophet Matthew, is that he was a normal child despite appearing somewhat advanced for his age. It was said that the boy Jesus possessed supernatural powers, and it was common for people to feel uneasy around him, especially when he became upset about something. According to the accounts in the Pseudo-Matthew, contradicting or challenging Jesus was not advisable, as he would punish anyone who did so. The extraordinary abilities of the young Jesus became evident when the family, along with many others, fled to Egypt. This escape was necessitated by the threats of King Herod, who ordered the death of the newborn as he considered himself the only ruler of Judea. According to the Gospel of Matthew, King Herod the Great commanded the execution of all boys in the town of Bethlehem under the age of 2 to prevent the throne from being taken by the newborn king of the Jews, whose birth had been revealed to him by the Magi. This event is known in history as the Massacre of the Innocents, a fulfillment of an Old Testament passage understood as a prophecy by Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted, because they are no more. Jeremiah 31 verses 15 to 17. These children, known in the Church as the Holy Innocents, have been referred to as the first Christian martyrs. Jesus, being around 2 years old during the escape to Egypt, had to contend with winged beings that we now know as dragons, according to the accounts in the Proto-Gospel of James. When the family reached a specific cave to rest for the night, 3 boys and a girl, all known to Joseph and Mary, were with them. As Mary descended from the mule holding little Jesus, a group of 3 dragons emerged from the mouth of the cave, startling everyone except the little boy. As the dragons landed and faced the group, Jesus descended from his mother's lap and, with the normal gait of a child, approached the feared beings standing before them. The dragons acted as if they were worshiping this small and innocent child, and in awe and fear they withdrew. Jesus showed his parents that he indeed possessed something very special, something no other human had, the true grace of God. The family and friends could then rest peacefully that night. Here is where the theory of reptilians comes into play. According to some conspiracy theorists and mystics, the dragons mentioned in the Pseudo-Matthew manuscript were not winged beings, nor did they breathe fire. Instead, they were purportedly human-reptile hybrids not originating from Earth, but adapting to the environment long before the first modern humans began inhabiting the planet. This race, much discussed in ufological circles and among conspiracy theorists, is known as the Reptilians. There are those who claim that reptilians are the true rulers of the world, and many believe that some of them may be hiding behind internationally respected and famous personalities, people of great influence like former U.S. Presidents George Bush and Barack Obama, the former Queen of England Elizabeth, or even music celebrities like Madonna and Miley Cyrus. The question arises, are these figures themselves reptilians, or are they being controlled by these beings? Regarding their true origin, there are more questions than assumptions. Some theories suggest they originated from somewhere in the Draco constellation. Whether there's any connection between this theory and the account of Jesus and his family encountering dragons at the cave's exit remains uncertain. On the contrary, some argue that they are not extraterrestrial but native to Earth. The reptilians supposedly had a prosperous existence in a distant past, and after a globally significant tragedy, perhaps during one of the mass extinction events, some managed to survive and continue their species. Even when entering the modern era of humanity, they preferred to stay away from humans, hiding in the most remote caves on the planet. However, given that almost nothing can remain hidden for so long, they were eventually discovered, giving rise to various cases and rumors. During the time of Jesus, the way of reporting daily events was different from today. Communication heavily relied on symbols, such as drawing small animals, human forms, and other devices, as seen in ancient Egyptian scrolls. Although Hebrew was almost consolidated by then, not everyone spoke or wrote correctly, making the use of symbols common. This complexity makes translation challenging. Therefore, what we read from the past might not have been precisely as translated. Is it then possible that Jesus communicated with reptilians? According to the theory, they have been on Earth for many, many years, possibly settling here after the extinction of dinosaurs. This theory is widely attributed to the British conspiracy theorist David Icke and his 1999 book, The Biggest Secret. Many have embraced Icke's idea, spreading it widely, and, of course, the internet has given it an extra boost when it comes to engaging followers. What are your thoughts on the relationship between Jesus and non-human beings? Is it possible that a parallel race, such as the Reptilians, existed or still exists, and they might have encountered the young Jesus?